Welcome to another episode of the Bandwagon Podcast. And today, I love doing some of my international kind of podcast, and today's no different. I'm joined by the Canadian producer, stroke singer, Mr. Harj Nagra.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, man. I know we've been going back and forth and trying to pin this down, and sometimes getting the timing, the
Yeah, it's just
Canadian
time
time and UK.
differences, man. Yeah. But we made it happen now, so
Yeah, no, it was good.
yeah,
So, just off the back of it, in terms of like how, I noticed you're obviously in the studio. For those people who are kind of listening in on Spotify and everything else, you're based in the studio. Is this
yeah.
your home, or is this kind of your home
Yeah,
away
this is
from
my
home?
home studio. This is my home studio. It's in the basement, so just converted like one room into the studio now.
We don't get basements in the UK that much, man. That's one thing in
I
Canada
know.
we get jealous of.
Yeah.
Would you have it in as a bar and everything in there? I'm just imagining what mine would be.
Yeah, no, it's just this and then outside just like TV room and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, so in your studio in there, who have you had? Who you been lucky to have graced the studio?
Right, everyone, man. Majority of the singers you could probably name have come through here.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get onto it. Hodge, we met a few years ago, and it always what I would say is that first impressions count, and when I first met you, I thought this guy, man, is proper sound, proper down to earth. And it was over a pint, so I think that really helps.
Yeah, I remember you guys came down.
Yeah, it was a good laugh. Hodge, I want to go back to the beginning in terms of your kind of musical career. Now, music kind of runs into your family, and the significance of like your dad, for example, Bobby Nagra. Everybody in the UK, especially around the world, would have heard shout outs from Jazzy, Shinda on their album, especially anything from Movie Box, really,
Yeah.
from the year 2000s onward would have heard it. The significance of your dad, what kind of role did he play in terms of your career?
So music wise, like since I was young, I was always like into music. And then I didn't really listen to that much Punjabi music until I was like in high school. So when I was like in grade 10 or 11. But before that was mostly you could say rap and all that. And then growing up, I guess they were like singers around, but I didn't really like I knew these guys are some kind of singers, but I didn't know who they were or whatnot, right? Because I wasn't really into it. And then as I grew up, then I started to know, oh, these guys are pretty big. Then it's like stuff like that. And then as I got more into Punjabi music, that kind of helped because I was always around them. Yeah, but growing up, like I used to play like I went to a Punjabi school my early years, so I was playing tabla. I was into kirtan. We had to learn the harmonium there. But then
Yeah.
I went most then after high school, I started making beats like hip hop beats. So I was doing that for like let's say 2 years, and then I started getting into Punjabi music.
Were you encouraged in terms of what was the scene like in Canada at that time? So you're in almost the home place of Bhangra in Canada, like Vancouver. You were born in Vancouver, then moved to Surrey, so that's
Yeah. That's
even
what.
more. So like, what was the environment like there as a kid growing up?
Um, the scene was UK at that time. It's always been like you could say UK. Now things have shifted, but even when I started releasing my songs, I always had to come to UK to do promotions or meet artists, and we used to record most of the songs over there in Planet Studios in Coventry. So this whole scene was over there all the time.
And was there a particular sound that you were after? Were you kind of trying to establish like the Canadian sound, or were you just definitely up, because you always hear artists when they talk about the UK scene, the UK Bhangra, the UK sound. Was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
something you were trying to imitate, or were you trying to just create your own?
Um, I I was just doing whatever I was used to because I learned everything myself, right? So everything was self-taught. So I was making more beats because that was more easier for me. And then to get the whole percussion sound and the dole sound, that was a little bit complicated for me. That's why I had to come to you could say UK and see how it works in the studio over there. So I spent a lot of years with Shinda in the studio. He was recording Rambo collaborations, 2, 3, Aminder Gill's album, Harbat Man's album, all this. So I watched all this, get made live by him and then see how they put together and all that. So that helped a lot for me too, just sitting there and watching him.
You said something really interesting there about the percussion.
Yeah,
For somebody who doesn't come from a kind of musical kind of background,
yeah.
if somebody went to the studio to play the dole or any of the percussion, you'd be just like, yeah, there's a mic and sound it. What
Yeah.
what is it that you're actually after? What makes that sound so special, so different?
So during this time, I was looking for my own sound. So I was always like, my first song was Dilwarda. That's like completely different from using those songs or whatnot. That was like a house, dance kind of song.
What year was
So
that? Sorry.
that was released in 2013.
Mm.
So before that, I had like completed a whole album. There were about like 10, 12 tracks ready, you know? Those were all mixed. You say solo tracks, Bhangra tracks, hip hop songs, sad songs or whatnot, right? So I was just like experimenting and seeing what my sound would be. So I tried like a lot of different songs, you know. So that's why most of my songs like that I've done well, you could say Range Rover and songs like that. Those are total, party tracks. And then some songs are straight hip hop songs like Bad Fella, right? So just try to do everything, you know.
My son, he's into kind of Bhangra, he's learning, and he got into he got into a little bit of cars. And
Yeah,
as you do, you put the playlist on and it on YouTube in the background,
yeah.
and Range Rover come on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he just stopped to his tracks in it. I was like, "What's he doing?" I didn't see what he was doing at first, and I looked
Yeah.
up there. That's it. I could put it on to this day. Put on Range Rover. He knows on the video. The Gorda at the beginning is doing the news.
The news clip, yeah.
He knew all the words to that as well, and he went straight into it. But it's a track that is a bit of an undercover. Like it really grows on you because like the beat.
Yeah.
It just kicks in and stuff. What was your experience of making that track particularly? I'm only asking this question because if one day he listens to this, at least I've asked you the question.
I'll tell him. So that track came. It was pretty funny how that came along. Benny had come down here. He was staying here for about I think 2 weeks or so, and then we just got in the studio. I'm like, let's see, let's try to do something together. Because we were in talks for like I've known him from before he even started singing. So he had about like a lot of these lyrics, and then he's like, I got this one, but he's like, it ran there, right? I'm like, let's hear it. And it was a bit controversial at that time, so I was like, let's do this. This one.
What was the controversy?
It was, there's like some lines in there. You already know. Yeah. So I was like, we got to do this one. This is the one. And then he's like, if you say so. And then that's it. That's what that song became.
And did you shoot that in Canada? The video?
We shot that in England.
England.
Yeah.
That was it's a pretty
Yeah.
If you want to watch that video, make sure you watch it on your own. So you and Benny have really kind of struck up a good relationship in terms of kind of that producer singer vibe. How do you know when you're working with an artist in terms of like there's some synergy in there? Because some people are supposed to kind of work together, you could just see it, but sometimes you get like some combinations and it just clicks off.
Yeah, so like as a producer, like I'm one of those guys where I gotta gel with the artist first, right? There's got to be some kind of understanding of or like some kind of relationship before we even start working, because then it's going to be a lot of clashing, right? So if before I even record something, most of the times like I've met these artists or I've known them before, like become like friends first or this and that. Then we start working, and I feel that way works way better than I get a call from someone, oh Gaana Karna, then they come and things happen along the way, songs don't come out, so it's always something like that happens too.
I mean, you're self-taught, and then at the age of 16, I think that's when you started going into more kind of the production side of about 16, 17. So then from your first track, how old are you from when you did your first from learning into doing your first track? Because I'm from the way that I've worked out my maths and your first up, it wasn't long.
Yeah, so basically I was just like practicing like every day. I was coming home from school just working on making beats, right? Like I sold a lot of beats online to random people on the internet. I don't know where those are, but then it wasn't I did. So during that time, let's say that was 2008, my first song didn't come out to 2013, like officially. So there was that big gap of me just learning things on my own,
but loads of bootlegs out there that you just don't know where they're at.
Yeah, a lot of beats out there. But I also did other songs too. I worked on a lot of Dharmic songs as well with Immortal Productions. So on their CDs, there's quite a few songs on there as well before Dilwarda.
And then in terms of your art, who would you say was your first bit where like your first artist where you kind of like major artist that you got in?
That would probably be my first song. That was like Sukhshinder, Shinda, right? And even that song, I knew them growing up, like even him, or you could say Jazzy, but I never once while I was growing up, I want to do a song with me, this and that. I was always like, I gotta work with everybody else first. I don't even want to ask them yet, right? So
No, the reason why I asked that question was because obviously you're working on Immortals and you've done that bit, but were you able to kind of have that connection with the singer in order to kind of direct him?
Yeah, yeah. So that's why he was very understanding. And even Dilrada already had that done. And then he had heard that. And then he's like, let me sing this. So that was something big for me because no other producer has ever produced for him before. So I
And
had a full album before Dilrada even came
yeah.
out. Yeah. But those songs kind of got scrapped and some came singles.
So how did you what was your methodology of kind of learning from him as well? Because this guy's made some of the biggest hits in
Yeah.
Bangla history, and
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
sitting there and you're producing for him. Was it a case of where he's
Yeah.
telling you what to do and he's produced it, but you were there, or was it in terms of like you
Well,
having
the
your
song was
full?
already fully produced, and then he had heard it. It was a new style, I guess, for him because all his songs have been, different style. Not, I don't think he's ever done a house track or a song like that, like a pop track.
Mm.
So that was, I guess, that was something completely different for him as well. But then in the studio, we did change a lot of things, but it's pretty much, it was my production, right? But that's why when that song came out, a lot of people were like, "Oh, who's this guy?" He just paid this guy, and then he's done it, this and that. So growing up, there was a lot of bullshit like that. But everything's always been my production.
And the video itself was also kind of high end as well, was it?
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah, yeah.
what was that like?
That was an experience, man. That was my first video ever, right? So I was like so nervous on that one. We went to LA and shot that.
Well, there's airplanes and what was just left in the
Airplanes,
desert.
racing the lampposts, all that. That was too much. Next level one.
And so was it easy to kind of like you just said there in terms of like how he Shinda's got his own kind of style.
Yeah.
Was it very easy for you to kind of change that style or like trying to introduce ideas?
So at that point, I was just like sitting back. I'm like, here's the song. It's like I'm not really gonna tell him, hey, if you want to change something, go ahead. I'm not gonna, say no, no, don't do this, don't do that. But as I've grown as an artist, like I feel that's the producer's job. So I do that now to everybody. Obviously, back then I'm like, this is Sukshinder, Shinda. I'm not gonna say anything to him.
Yeah, yeah. And then moving on, you've worked with the likes kind of like Roach Killer as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've gone on to do work with Jazzy B. What was that experience like? What was the first song that you did with Jazzy? I'm
Um,
guessing you've recorded quite a lot with Jazzy, but you've only released a certain
yeah,
amount.
we got lots. Yeah, we got lots. I think the first one that came out was Nabbedi Baduk. That was the first one. And that was done in like 2015 or something, but I don't think it came out till like 2 years after.
Mm.
And after that, we did Worldwide. Um, Bomb
Bum,
Gunner, there's a few
bum
more, yeah.
Gunner.
Yeah, Bomb Gunner, yeah.
And how was that kind of experience of when you got to record somebody like Jazzy in the studio, knowing that he's worked with all these producers as well,
Yeah, yeah.
and then knowing the relationship that he's got with your dad family? It's just not just any other artist, is it? It's almost possibly like a family member that you're
Yeah.
coming in there to kind of like direct it. What was his attitude like towards you, trying to help you out?
So basically, like we have this like different relations too. You could say like as like a friendship kind of thing as well. So it's like when we're in the studio, like I've told them like, hey, do this, do that. Was in the beginning, obviously, I was like, don't want to say anything to him. But then as we did more and more songs that I already know him like pretty well, so it
Mm.
wasn't like that big of an issue.
I,
But
I, it,
he's like a professional at what he does, so there's really no mistakes when he's doing something.
was he able to kind of tell like you could just see like there's Monica in him and stuff like that, with
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
with his stuff? Was he very direct with you in terms of saying no, this is what we should be doing?
So with him, like he'll let me like with a lot of artists, he'll be like, "Oh my, the music are now the this and that." With him, he just lets me do whatever I want to do with the music.
And how much more have you got left to kind of release with him?
We when he's here, we probably record things like every week. We have a lot of stuff. So I gotta
it's a
fix a lot.
it's it's a very common theme that is starting to really annoy me when you
I know.
you see with producers and the amount of stuff that they kind of left unreleased, and
Yeah,
it will never see the light of day.
yeah. I got a lot of unreleased things, man. But sometimes what happens is you work with singers and then they want to rush it. So I need this done by now. So you do it, but then that's things don't come out for like so long.
But does that,
Sometimes things don't come out at all.
yeah. Well, I'm not saying it was with Jazzy, but just with artists
Yeah,
and
not
stuff
with
like that.
Jazzy, not other artists.
Yeah, in terms of like, with your creativity, do you find that so frustrating in terms of like, you've got all this there? I could never make a beat in my life, but if I did, it's a childlike, isn't it? It's your creation.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you then, like, if you get the vibe that nobody's going to be doing releasing it, do you ever feel the need to just pass it to somebody else and just like, look, can you just run with it?
I've never really done that before. Like it's not like if I work on a project and let's say today I could start something. By the end of the day, it could be done. Then tomorrow I could come back to it like, oh, I don't want to. What is this? What did I make? And things just get like scrapped like that. Maybe won't even look at it again, or I'll restart it again. But I've never really been like give it to someone else. Be like, hey, you take it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you worked with Sidhu as well at a time as well. And which tracks did you work on with him as well? Because I'm guessing that working with an artist like him, he's definitely ain't gonna just give you one track the way that at the
Yeah,
speed that
yeah.
he kind of writes.
Yeah, we've been in the studio a few times. We've tried different things, but the one that came out so is Bad Fella. So that one, how that one came along, I made the beat already, and then he had come down one day to the studio. I got a call, and then he started writing most of it here. And then second time he came around, we did final vocals, shot the video. That was it.
So he was kind of like writing the song on the spot there and then.
Yeah, yeah. So went through beats. Then I probably played like 10, 15 beats or something, and then we chose that one. He liked that one that I made, and then sat here for a good, I think, half an hour or so, and then he started writing verses. And while he had come that day, I had people over, like Ikta rapper, he was over
Yep.
already. So this studio was already full with like probably like 10, 15 people.
Already, what, just to meet him or just
No,
recording their stuff?
I was already working with them. We were doing some songs, and then he's like, he called me. He's like, I'll be fast. He came in. Everyone's sitting here. He wrote Bad Fella here, recorded it, bounced.
Straight away.
Yeah.
How you're as I said before, like, you're a young producer in Canada now. How would you assess the music scene there?
So music's like it's changed a lot. It's always changing, right? So with most artists, you have to, if you're a singer, producer, you have to, you can say follow the trend, right? So or you can stay behind kind of thing. So I feel like Canada, in a way, has the North American market has kind of like it's been, a lot of our sounds are now copied from other areas or whatnot, right? Because it's more you could say it's following the modern times of music. So I would say
How did in
sounds
your
a lot the same.
yeah in your opinion, how did it become so successful? Was it the fact that the UK slipped, or like India kind of was just producing so much crap, and then you took advantage? What would you kind of drill it down to?
Like okay, when I'm making music, I make music to what I'm listening to or what I like, right? So a lot of people they do that as well, but then they just stick with it. They just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. So I feel like you have to move with the times. So if so some music's not gonna keep working forever for like 20, 30, 40 years, right? You have to you have to move, you have to adapt, yeah, with the times, and you have to recreate yourself here and there. So I even took a, like you could say, almost a year off, just trying to figure out now what I'm gonna do, right? Because I was getting unmotivated. Like I started feeling like keep doing the same things over and over again.
How did you recognize, like, because that's a bit of a rare thing, isn't it? Is that you're successful, the obvious kind of thing to do is just carry on what you're doing, because at the end of the day, your Spotify numbers are doing well, your YouTube numbers are doing well. You know,
Yeah.
why did you kind of think that you needed to change it up? Because if it's not broke, why fix it?
Because okay, so I was just when someone comes, they're like, I want this song, I want this song. Like this my other songs I've already done. Like I've had people come to me, they want like 50 Range Rovers. I don't want to make another Range Rover, But I don't want to make
Well,
another
my
Kia
son will be happy.
that. So then you just get tired, right? Like, just take a step back. Like if I'm not happy with what I'm doing, then I'm gonna step back, regather my thoughts, and then come back again.
Do you like, if you're going to make a decision like that, or advice wise, do you pick up the phone to like the music industry is kind of notoriously known like the worst kept secret. Everyone hates everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you've got like you've got a real what if you pick up the phone, you've got you got a very useful phone book.
Yeah, like I know who I'm gonna ask for advice with this and that, but most of these times I just keep things to myself, right? So it's a hard situation, you could say. But if I was to ask people, you already know, like I know who to ask, right?
Mm. And does that inadvertently put pressure on you in terms of like looking at your next kind of like projects?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
How do you deal with that then?
Because like I've made a lot of songs and I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna be as good as that. This isn't gonna be as good as that. So that puts a lot of pressure and it gives you anxiety, right? So it's a hard situation, but you just gotta overcome it. You just got like what I've realized now is just release things out there and then see how it goes.
So you don't really right, because that's kind of different from when like the vibes where it was before, where it was kind of planned. You're just more like, if it's good for you, I'm just gonna put it out, let it just be organic and let it just breathe on its own.
Yeah, because nowadays like songs are coming out probably like 5, 10 a day. There's so many songs. You release a song, it just gets lost, So back then, like not even back then, but like you could say years ago, you could just release a song and it's like the highlight because there's not many other songs, getting released around the same time. So now there's like so many songs out there.
Is there kind of producers or artists in terms of that you look around right now and you think like I could vibe with them, or they're doing well?
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm cool with everyone, man. Everyone I meet, so love for everyone, and then that's how it should be. I feel like this whole social media game is what puts people against each other. People in the comments and this and that.
But isn't that the controversy, the way of how people find an easier way of trying to make money? Because it comes down to, in terms of like, any kind of PR is good PR,
Yeah, it's
even
good.
if it's bad, is publicity. And so if people are getting pitted together, like, you're going to need your competition. If ever you're going to pitch yourself in any kind of work, you're always going to need your competition to push you on.
Yeah, most of these controversies that you see online, like they're not. It's nothing's real. Like the artists are liking it. I've had like, let's say some of these singers in this controversy, they're like, I like it, bro. I just got 100,000 more followers in the last week. This and that. So they're loving it. That's the truth. That's the truth to all this.
So are you conscious in terms of like when you work with artists, just to say like, oh, like, this guy ain't gonna like it, or are you just kind of just like,
No,
fuck it?
so I've actually stepped back from a situation where one artist wanted to make a reply or a diss song to the other artist, and I said I'm not doing it. So you have to be a stand like that. Even though as a producer, like you can work with anybody you want, but I'm not gonna, if I'm already good with somebody else, I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. X myself out then from
They
that
were
person.
gonna make a song directly dissing another singer.
Yeah, yeah. And I said no to that.
So the kind of hip hop kind of beef.
Yeah, stuff like that, And I'm pretty sure people can see who it is too as well.
Yeah, I
So
don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it would kind of take.
no names need to be mentioned.
Look, yeah, well, I think what you just said there is quite revealing in terms of like, there's still an ethical kind of boundary in terms of like
Yeah, sure.
how,
You have to.
how you would kind of work. So you've got we were going to be doing this the other day, but you had Deep Jungle there as well, and then he's another guy who's kind of exploded on the sea, not exploded at the time, and still got that longevity within there. With those kind of, is he kind of another person, a focal point that you kind of learn from and
Um,
take things away from?
I met Deep like late in my career, around just a few years ago when we did Gil. But when we met, like we gelled and stuff. So you know, um, it was a good relationship. It still is. We still talk about doing new songs all the time, ideas and stuff. The Even when we made Gil, like it was made within 3 days. First day we met, we wrote the song. Second day we recorded it. Third day we shot the video. So
Just
there's a lot of artists like that. You just when you get along with someone and things just happen like that.
a common theme that's coming out is speed, isn't it? Like, if you had Sidhu just driving by, just say, "Oh yeah, let me just
Yeah,
record this."
yeah. And usually those songs like that, they're the ones that go bigger than the ones that you just always like, dwell on, and you wait if things get delayed.
you're obviously competent behind the behind the camera, like producing the stuff. Why in 2016 did you want to go step in front and start singing?
That song, honestly, that was just I just did that for fun, and then I
So the song
played
was all night, right? So
yeah,
you
all night, all night. I had just done that for fun. Like I even wrote those lyrics, and I'm not like a Punjabi lyricist or whatnot. But and then I just played it for a few people. They said this, you should release this or something. So then just went ahead and did that.
and so like you've obviously, were you having vocal lessons? Who were you kind of learning from? Did your dad even tell you, say like, listen, look?
No, no, I haven't had no vocal lessons, no vocal lessons. Even when I started producing, my dad was like, "This is a waste of time. Don't do this."
So he was against it from this, even from that way, even with the people that he knew, he just said like, just don't
Yeah,
go that way.
he's like, just leave it. Don't waste your time. Don't go to school, this and that. But then as I grew up and started listening to things, and he saw that I was passionate about this.
Was
So
there a moment where you convinced him?
well, he probably just saw me doing this like every single day for like God knows how many years, right? So I guess then he realized that this is what I really want to do. So then they started supporting.
And you're balancing this with having your own kind of work as well, like your property portfolio and all these kind of into kind of real estate. How did you find the time to differentiate between that?
I feel like this day and age you have to be doing a lot of different things, right? So as I was growing up, I got my realtor license. I still am, and then started getting into crypto trading, stock trading, this and that. So just try to do different things all the time. But what music it's always going to be number one. But the thing with me is when I do something, I go like 110%. If I can put my 110% from it, then I have to I can't really juggle everything at once. So I might take a break from music, go to this, take a break from that, go back to music, and so that happens a lot as well. That's why people see breaks in my times when I release music.
Just getting busier with with all the other work.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out whether somebody's released a Bhangra song called Bitcoin yet.
I'm surprised. I don't think so yet.
No, I reckon you're in with this chance yet. If you want to start,
Right? I might have to.
No one's done it yet. Because remember there was about 100 selfie songs, and there was all this.
So many. Facebook, Snapchat.
That's it. Yeah. No, I reckon you're okay, man. I reckon you should go for it.
Might have to.
You can sell that as an NFT within there.
Yeah. So that's something also working on, seeing how to do something like that as well.
But you think this? I've had this kind of conversation with a few people. Do you reckon there's an appetite for that?
So this is why we're still figuring it out. I feel like let's say our culture, let's say Punjabis or like Desis, whatnot. Our audience, I don't think everyone really knows what Ethereum is or how to buy an NFT or these websites called OpenSea where you sell the NFTs. So I feel like that market's not 100% there yet, which is why I haven't done that yet, right? But when the time comes, I feel like it's getting more mainstream crypto is, so I feel like time will come, and then there will be most of the majority of artists releasing their music on platforms like that and using NFTs.
And do you reckon it's more fun kind of for the younger generation? Because I remember I was trying to explain what an NFT and like how it is to an older, and they were like, "Look, man, I just still record my music off my iPhone, off the radio." You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah. So yeah,
I will find the easiest way. I find the easiest.
Yeah, I feel like it's more the young generation so far. Like if I try to explain to my parents or someone older, it's you spend like hours just trying to explain, and then at the end, they still don't really get it.
It's dangerous, man. The amount of young people I know who have got some really big portfolio money, just like people need to be kind of taught, like, this is how you manage money, this is how you do it correctly.
Yeah, it's this technology, man. It's moving so fast. You can do everything on your phone, anywhere. So I think that's what it is.
And so, like, in terms of the future for yourself and like the movement in Canada, do you see yourself kind of setting up a school or a mentoring thing to get other young artists to come in for it, especially from the lessons that you've learned?
I've never really thought about that. I mean, I do get like messages here and there, like, "Oh, can I learn from you? Can I do this or that?" I've never really thought about that.
Because I'm looking at it because you got a studio, in the basement.
Yeah.
And for a young up and coming artist, that's a resource that's there.
Yeah, it would be something good, obviously, to set up. I might look into that and see how we can do that. But other
Well,
than
if you
that,
do, I get 10%. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
don't worry, man. You can be one of the teachers.
but
But
one
there are
day,
new artists like I'm helping out and
yeah.
like developing them and so working with new artists as well all the time.
Is there any kind of hang on, we're just having a. I'll cut this out when I'm. Is
Like,
is there any kind of up and coming artist that that the UK or anyone out worldwide should be aware of?
there's lots, man. There's lots that are just releasing music because they don't these days anyone can just make a song and release it online and it can blow up. So I feel like it's way easier now for people to like find new talent. You just go online, you can find anybody. But there are a lot of names that I've been watching and I like myself listening to their music.
Who would they be? Because they like nowadays the movement within here in the UK is the club scene kind of was massive. It died, and now it's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah. Like
And
look what AP and Grinder Gill guys are doing, right? They're killing it, and they've the sold out tours in UK. I've seen it. So that's like a new sound that they didn't care about anything that's happening in the Punjabi industry, right? So
they don't
anything
give it.
online right now. You can just release things and blow up.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're on their own kind of timetable. Have you managed to work with those boys or seen those boys?
I've spoken with them before, but no real plans to like work on anything as of yet.
Yeah. They're in their own, especially when in the UK when they came in, it was like at the moment everyone's timeline, it went from like AP, it went to Sartaj,
Yeah.
and then within about, I think it was about 5 minutes, it'll be all about wedding season. All the DJs putting up the same fucking Snapchat,
Yeah.
like, again. And then I think Diljit's coming in August, so then that's gonna be like timeline filled again as well.
Yeah, everyone's catching up with all the lockdowns over, I guess, over there, and then everyone's just trying to catch up with all the shows.
Yeah, I mean, like Jazzy came back and then like I would say a comeback show because
Yeah.
all those kids I've only heard like the Nog sample in it, just like with the
Yeah.
DJ. They've never seen him with a band, and then when he's coming, it was just like,
He's one of the best live performers, man.
oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
Still got it, with his energy, his creativity, his looks, everything like that. I think this podcast in general that I do is just always just a tribute. I always end up going back to Jazzy or the Toll anyway. So it's just
a legend, man. He's a legend.
he is. So what does the future look like for you then in the next 6 to 12 months then?
So obviously the music is there. But also I've been getting a lot of like movie role offers, huh?
What to star in films?
Yeah. I've already done 2 before, but those were just I was just trying out, seeing how the industry is.
Yeah.
So Love Punjab, there's another one, Do Doni Panj. So this one now we're gonna do it properly at a bigger level.
And I knew about the other two. I was saying like there's more. That's the kind of career that you want to go into.
It's just something as well. Like I like to try, like go down all the avenues, see, try different things. And I don't think any other producer or anybody else is really doing like music producing and also acted in films and this that. So something that I got kind of been doing, So I was supposed to shoot one last year, but that got delayed because of all this COVID stuff. So now there's 2. We're gonna shoot them this year in the summer, and then one after the other. So those will come out too.
So have you got any like stars that you can share information on, like who's going to be?
The one that we were supposed to shoot first was with Jimmy Shergill. So, but then that got delayed a few months ago. So that one might be first, or the other one might be first. I'm not too sure yet.
Is your dad approving of that?
Yeah, he's approved of that. I've gotten so many, like I go through the roles, and I'm not like a comedian or whatnot, right? So I gotta choose them. Like it's gotta match my personality. These roles.
Do you just play yourself? It'd be like
I gotta play myself now. So I don't. Yeah.
I think Harj Mango, he played. I don't know whether he played himself. I don't watch Punjabi films that much, man. To be honest, yeah. But I know he's a film star as well now. So like,
yeah.
So that's it from the movies. Anything from the music side, like you would go into it.
So music side, I need to make an album. That's something I have to do. So I've just been collecting songs, And I think first I'm gonna release an EP with like 4 or 5 tracks, then a full album right after that.
EP's the kind of vibe at the moment. Everyone's coming out with the EPs.
Yeah, everyone's got it twisted though. Like they're releasing EP as an album. Like EP means extended play, and it's like supposed to be 4 or 5 tracks followed by an album. But everyone's releasing an EP as like this is a new album, and they release like an EP.
That annoys you, I could tell.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it's like a trend now. Everyone's like just dropping them, you know.
Is that your old hip hop head coming out? Going?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
all the terms are coming out.
And then, so I think the argument was before in terms of like with albums that there wasn't that much kind of return of investment. The singles was kind of a much easier route to go down. Why would you go for kind of story-based kind of album, or would you just kind of put together like a bunch of singles and just say, here's the album?
See, that's why I've never really did an album, because like most albums, yeah, I like the ones that are like, the album, they tell a story with skits, maybe two, something like that. But most albums these days, I feel like just bunch of tracks. Let's just gather what we can, as singers, different producers, or producers get different singers put together, boom, album done, right? This one, like, it's gonna be my first and maybe only, I don't know, because I haven't released an album as of yet since my whole career. So if I'm gonna do it, it's gotta be proper, and right.
Would you have a bunch of singers or just have one singer go through it all?
I would probably have a few singers, yeah. But I have been working on these EPs with 2 new artists, which is just their songs. So that as well, that's good, stuff like that as well.
You just want one just individually
on my album, like the Harj Nagra album, whatever it's gonna be called. This album will have like various artists,
Well, yeah, it is the move forward. It's brave as well, because it's not cheap doing some of this stuff, and
it takes a lot of time too. Like, I know if I'm gonna have like 8-9 tracks, I'm probably gonna make like 30 tracks and then select down to the 8-9.
And there you go. That's the thing that pisses me off again. It's just that all that music will never be released.
Yeah, because I had one in 2012, 2013, and they didn't come out. That was about 10 tracks. The only song that came out of that was by Dilwar and Range Rover.
So and they were pretty good.
Yeah.
So what about the others then?
I have them. It's just time's changing so fast. If you don't release it right away, then it gets old. Yeah, and those singers too, they're new singers every day, right? So
it always goes back to that debate.
Maybe release them as an NFT and no one will know until you buy it.
maybe that's the thing in it, because like to me, like a Tombi can never go out of date. A Toad can never go out of date. So like it'll always be kind of a cyclical kind of thing, and it's not like an AP kind of track. Like they don't even use any like.
Yeah. So
it's just a different market while it's there, and it is to kind of be used.
Yeah.
So Harj, this is the bandwagon. So what I do is I ask all my kind of guests who kind of jump on, is there a bandwagon that they want to jump on? Is there a bandwagon that they want to jump off? Or is there anything that they want to kind of raise or get off their chest? So this is their kind of opportunity.
Bandwagon, there's one thing, I'd never jump on the bandwagon, so I always try to do my own thing.
Well, that it's very difficult though, isn't it? As well, especially where like if you're seeing like proven success, like AP is a really good example.
Yeah, and that's why you got 20-30 other guys just trying to copy them too, right? Same sound.
Yeah, but that is it's understandable though as well, isn't it? Is if you're seeing where that's where the money's at, it's braver to kind of go swim against the current, isn't it?
It's just like as artists, you just have to. Like some artists will just stick to the same thing what someone else is doing their whole careers, and then you'll always be just under their limelight or just following them, right? You're just following the trend. But the ones that stand out and the ones that are doing their own thing opposite of what other people are doing, they're the ones that really they'll see the massive success, right?
And it does feel like that there's real big money to be made now in the Punjabi music industry. Whereas before it was it went on to kind of really dodgy ground at some stage. It feels like it's coming back, and it's strong in the UK again. Yeah. It's strong in Canada.
Getting more, like you could say, more commercial, more mainstream in a lot of countries, right?
Yeah. Some of the hits. I mean, people getting their pictures in Times Square, or billboards everywhere now, and and then let's hope that when your album comes out, Like you'll be on the same vibe, and you have your picture there as well. Harj, it's been an absolute pleasure getting you on, man. I really appreciate cutting some time out and jumping there, but really appreciate it. So
Finally made it happen.
yeah, man. Look, anytime any of the music come out, let me know, man. We'll be blasting it on socials and get there, and then hopefully I'll come over there and see you soon, man. And
yeah, man,
I ain't gonna sing, but I just
I'll get you in the booth. Don't worry.
No chance, mate. Not a chance in it. Thanks, mate. All the best.
Thanks, man. Thanks. See ya.